in the wake of a deadly fire that killed 5 and saw people leaping out of windows to save their lives. Some iconic village tenants now want to opt out of their leases.
Occupancy rates ran in the upper 90s, so I would imagine that percentage will go down given everything that happened.
San Antonio approves a controversial plan to downsize Southside businesses near the historic Missions. The movement to bring paid sick leave to Alamo City inches forward. And combining taste and presentation, Spoon Eatery brings delicious dishes by Chef Arturo Fernandez to San Antonio.
You go in there and this is a space as clean and fresh and great smelling like a scented candle at Pottery Barn.
I'm Chance Storlin with your Express Briefing for Friday, August 3rd. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. As some tenants choose to move on, dumpster bins outside some of San Marcos's iconic Village Apartments buildings are overflowing with trash, furniture, and household items, while the nearby charred remains of Building 500, where 5 people died in a catastrophic fire, remains fenced off. While tenants say they've been offered new apartments away from damaged areas, some say they'd rather leave than face the memories of the tragic July 20th fire that still remains a mystery. Here's San Antonio Express News writer Austin Horn.
We're probably going to see something of an exodus from these buildings. People had signed leases on for a year. They had either signed to renew. I spoke to somebody who had just like a week previous to the incident, he had signed on to renew his lease in the apartment with his girlfriend. But obviously they're not going to be able to be in the same apartment. And the apartment people had offered him a spot at the same rate. But given what happened, he opted to go elsewhere. Other people have opted to stay in Vintage Pads or Iconic Village because they like it there.
Hear more of my conversation with Express News writer Austin Horn about the San Marcos fire on the In-Depth podcast, available for free download at expressnews.com/podcasts. Property managers are reportedly not charging residents for breaking leases and are also said to be refunding prorated amounts for rent that has already been paid. Thursday, the San Antonio City Council changed the zoning of dozens of Southside businesses against their will by approving a proposal intended to encourage economic development around the Mission World Heritage sites. With District 10 Councilman Clayton Perry absent for the vote after nearly 2 hours of passionate testimony from about 30 Southside residents, with roughly half in favor and half opposed. Council and Mayor Ron Nirenberg voted 10-0 in favor of the plan, ending an arduous 6-month process when the city faced off against irate business owners who say the downsizing violates their property rights. The proposal intends to clean up areas around the Missions and clear the way for new development, especially retail businesses like coffee shops, restaurants, and bookstores that Southside residents say they need more of. In June, the Zoning Commission recommended denying the proposal after a divided vote, raising concerns of government overreach. Thursday, the San Antonio City Clerk certified signatures on a petition that forces council members to take action on paid sick leave, ratcheting up tension between the business community, activists, and Alamo City. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says he plans to put paid sick leave on the agenda for the council's August 16th meeting, when council members are expected to decide whether to enact it as an ordinance or place it on the November ballot. Wednesday, council members plan to gather public input on the proposed sick time ordinance that would require private sector employees, even those at nonprofits and small businesses, earn an hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours of work, which would accrue to a minimum of 48 or 60 hours depending on the size of the company. And Spoon Eatery in Castle Hills breaks free of Country Club 101.
Hi, I'm Mike Sutter, the restaurant critic for the Express News. This week we're talking about Spoon Eatery. Yeah, I said it, the word eatery, not my favorite, but this is a new restaurant over in Castle Hills. When I first looked at the menu, things like lobster bisque and tenderloin and beet salad, and I thought, man, this sounds like Country Club 101. And you go in there, and this is a space as clean and fresh and great smelling like a scented candle at Pottery Barn. It's over there in Castle Hills in a nice shaded little shopping center. But on further investigation, I found out that the chef there, Arturo Fernandez, he worked with Ferran Adria at the Spanish restaurant El Bulli before he opened his own place in Mexico City that was among the city's big talkers. And then he joined fellow Mexican chef David Barquette to open Spoon in late May. So we're looking at dishes like sous vide fish, sous vide ribeye stew with edamame. Also from the grill, we get a nice grilled tenderloin with a mushroom demi-glace. They bring out the steak tableside for ribeyes for you to choose which thing you want to get grilled, and they charge you by the ounce. So you get to choose your own meat. Now, there were some temperature issues, some things that were overcooked. You tend to get into that more elaborate, beautiful plating like they do, and sometimes you get into temperature issues. Those are small things that we're going to talk about more in the review. They finally got their liquor license, so you'll be able to get a glass of wine to go with your food. Read more about the review this week, please, at expressnews.com.
And that's your daily San Antonio Express News briefing for Friday, August 3rd. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.